Welcome to week 4, lesson 1 of the module. In our last micro lectures, we touched on risk management. We looked at valuative frameworks, the VUCA principle, and flexibility, agility, and resilience in organizations. We now turn our attention to a topic that is of particular importance, especially in the 21st century: competitive intelligence. Our focus is going to be on learning more about the information resource and how information is a strategic weapon that supply chain managers can leverage to help them make more informed decisions. These are our learning outcomes in terms of competitive manufacturing intelligence. Now, as we are aware, the global economy in terms of manufacturing, procurement, service delivery, logistics, both inbound and outbound, is characterized by fierce competition, and there are a number of contributing factors. First and foremost is globalization. It's everything from changing customer needs to a zero tolerance for defective products, to pricing, to the availability of substitutes and complements, just-in-time manufacturing, predictive manufacturing systems, and so on. The list goes on and on. It's an almost infinite list, especially in the 21st century, in the information age, the age of consumerism. In order to survive in this world, companies have to leverage tools that will give them a competitive edge. And one of those tools is competitive intelligence. We're specifically calling it competitive manufacturing intelligence, but the terms can be used interchangeably. But as a supply chain manager, why and how should you leverage information as a strategic lever to help you win market share, to make high quality decisions, and to reduce the cost of production, and ultimately give you a sustainable competitive advantage? Now, what is competitive intelligence? Competitive intelligence is a process or a practice that produces actionable insights or actionable intelligence by collecting information, processing it, and analyzing it both ethically and legally. And remember, especially in our country, we have the POPI Act, which obviously places restrictions in terms of how you can collect and use consumer information. That's, of course, to protect the privacy of consumers. Competitive intelligence is done to help in decision making and to provide a competitive advantage to the company by improving productivity, reining in costs, which we know can sometimes spiral out of control, ensuring good quality and timely delivery, as well as fostering a sense of innovation. And that is the purpose of competitive intelligence, is to give you some sort of edge. Now, what are the drivers? What are the reasons? What pushes supply chain managers to try and leverage the information resource? First and foremost, it's driven by change and driven by the desire to win. There's so many options available to customers, and remember, they don't need to settle. Because of increased access to the internet, customers are well informed. So you need to leverage the information to make the best possible decisions to deliver value to your stakeholders. CMI or competitive intelligence is driven by the need to sustain available resources, deliver value to stakeholders, and drive a competitive advantage. So what is the purpose of competitive intelligence? Firstly, you're using information to figure out if you're doing anything wrong, diagnosing faults, improving your production processes, improving your core competencies, shortening your production times by using key bits of information to improve and re-engineer processes to support decision making. Everything right down to continuous improvement all depends on information. You have to analyze what you're doing. You've got to analyze your market, your competitive landscape, and use that information strategically to make decisions in the best interest of both the organization as well as the stakeholder. So in order to improve the cost effectiveness of operations, companies have started to leverage competitive manufacturing intelligence. And of course, you want to reduce your overall inventory investment, improve your response times, as well as your utilization and availability of equipment and other resources. So there are innumerate number of drivers of competitive intelligence. And companies have started to pursue this because they know that if you fall behind, you get left behind, especially in this competitive market. So, what are the characteristics of competitive intelligence or any system that you're using to derive some sort of information resource from? It's got to be adaptable. So, you need to be able to pick up changes in the environment. Your information's got to be accurate and clear. There should be no ambiguity. And it has to be actionable. It's got to be usable. It cannot be information that you can't use because then it has no value whatsoever. There's got to be depth. So, in other words, you have to have all of the relevant information that you need. And again, it's got to be relevant and it has to be responsive and timely. You cannot get the information too late because, of course, if you have too big of a time lag, the decision or the strategy that you implement may no longer have relevance. And I hope you now understand a bit more about competitive intelligence, its importance, its drivers, its purpose, as well as its characteristics. Please read the articles provided and watch the YouTube videos. This will help to broaden your understanding of the concept as this is a key concept in the 21st century. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next micro lecture.